welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. Before we get started, guys, I just want to let you know we have a great episode in store. I have a lot of heat on my chest. Ryan has a lot of heat on his chest. Brian wants all the smoke, and I'm not a wick. Shout out to all my youngers out there. They know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, my guys, before we go into that, how y'all doing?
I'm great.
Dude, I'm chilling, man. We just came back from soccer practice, so I got the beanie on.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. This is new. You like this? You like this?
Yeah, that's a little swaggy. I'm not gonna
Hey,
lie. So it's
shout out to Mickey. His birthday is tomorrow. Well, we're recording
like
it tonight, but it's on Thursday.
like Mickey
It'd be
Mouse.
like Mickey Mouse, yeah.
Oh yeah, my daughter would definitely be geek for that because she's probably
Yeah.
downstairs getting ready to talk to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, let me get straight to it. Hitting on what is that? We get hitting on the NCAA. Uh, I actually got a chance to watch the Texas Gonzaga game. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Gonzaga ended up winning that, but it was pretty good. Chet Holmgren showed me some stuff. I believe the big man's name is Tilly. I don't know if y'all ever get a chance to watch him. He is you would appreciate him, Brian, just because he's like a Tim Duncan, David Robinson type of player in the paint, drop step, hook, like, but he's getting buckets. And he has this like headband he puts on and have his hair up and he
Oh, I
looks
know.
if you oh okay you try
I
if
know
you
what
see
he looks like.
yeah when you see him on the court you're like oh he can't ball but
Yeah, I
he
know.
hoops that boy
Yeah.
hoops so I got to watch them a little bit that was good to see I think upset wise it was Michigan they lost to Seton Hall by 2 they had a chance at the end to tie it up but they ended up losing to Seton Hall which was eh, you know, I guess in the beginning of the season you get losses like that. Seton Hall is pretty a gritty team, so it's a loss there. Um, and then for this week, I believe it's Tennessee versus Villanova plays, um, and I'm missing one more top 5 or top 15, top 20 matchup. It's Purdue versus dang, I just dropped. Purdue plays a big time matchup this week as well, as far as college goes. And then as college starts picking up more, we'll see a lot more big matchups like Big Ten, ACC showdown, and things of that sort. SEC, Big 12 type of thing showdown, which will be good to watch.
Didn't Illinois almost get taken down the other night, or did they get taken down? I thought I saw something. They were like ranked 14th, I think, at the time.
Actually, I have to look that up.
Okay.
I didn't see anything like
I
upset
can't
as far as
remember
that.
I can't remember if it was just like a close game or if they actually lost. I couldn't remember. I just briefly saw it like on a highlight, and now
Yeah,
my brain ain't working. So
yeah, they lost to Marquette, 66-67.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
little upset.
A little upset. And then touching on the NBA, I don't know if you guys got the chance to, but the Nets played the Warriors. And by the way, guys, I know I've talked about Steph Curry probably every single week, just because he's just
But you
playing
should
on.
be.
Yeah, he is like I was saying before. I don't think he's the best player, right? If I have to choose one, I want to take KD. But the way that he's playing right now, bro, it. I said last week. I said it's ungodly. This week, he. I can't explain it, bro. He was pulling up from the logo like it was nothing. He started the game 4 for 4 from the 3 point line, and people were like, "What's going on?" He just shooting it. He had one play, Draymond. He was on a wing. He threw it to Draymond on the back cut, and Draymond like pop passed it back out to the 3. He didn't even turn it back around yet. Steph Curry didn't turn it around yet. Just threw it off his back leg, cash. Like he was just being disrespectful. He ended up having 37. They blew out the Nets, and I was like, bro, this dude is going crazy. Then of course the Lakers can't do no right, right? The Bulls torched them. DeMar DeRozan gave them 38. Then you have the Suns, who are number 2 behind the Warriors. I think they're 10-3 right now. They're kind of sneaking up in the Western Conference. Everybody's getting back into their form from being, number 1 last year, being the Western Conference Finals champions. And then on the East, of course, the Bulls are doing their thing, but the Wizards are actually number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And I
Which
know
is weird.
it's early, but they are playing really good together. I saw the GM already got an extension. And I'm like, bro, it's 13 games in. He already gave him an extension. Like, hey, bro, we like what you're doing. I'm like, don't get head over your heels over yourself, but I get it. Right? They're winning, which is kudos to them. Kyle Kuzma, by the way, has been like.
We should go to a game.
Yeah, we should. We should go to a game and just watch them. They'll probably lose, but we can go to the game. Kyle Kuzma's been playing out of his mind on the boards. I saw a couple games. He had like 17 rebounds, 15 rebounds. I'm like, bro, where the hell was that? Like the Lakers. If you would have gave us any of that, I think he's averaging like 14 and 11 or something like that. I'm like, if you gave us any of that, the Lakers, you wouldn't have left. But anyway, I have nothing else to say to that. But yeah, that's all I got for NCAA and NBA.
All right, get into a little bit of hockey real quick. I actually have some hockey for you. We'll just cover the standings real quick. Right now, Florida is out the gate. They're leading
Islanders
the
or
Eastern.
Panthers?
What's that?
Oh, I know you said Florida. Never mind. That's got to be Panthers, right? Sorry.
Florida Panthers.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
I'm
you got anything else?
Lightning. Sorry. I'm quiet.
That's Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
I'd say Tampa Bay if I was talking about the Lightning. You good, Kenny, or you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll take it. Anyway, guys, by the way.
But yeah, so they're leading the Atlantic division, and then you got Carolina, the Hurricane, are leading the Metropolitan division. That's the East, and then the West, you got Winnipeg. They're leading the Central division, and Anaheim is leading the Pacific. Also, I just wanted to tell everybody that if you're not watching hockey, this might be a good time to start investing in some hockey, and I'll tell you why. Everybody's heard of the Great One, Wayne Gretzky. We might have this generation's the Great One right now playing in the NHL. Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers is disgusting right now. In 15 games, he already has 29 points. To put that into perspective, most players will get that are really elite in the league. They'll get around 100 points in a season over 82 games. But real quick math, 15 for 30. So I mean, you're talking.
Don't hurt yourself.
You're talking like 100. He's on pace for like 150, 160 points right now, which just hasn't been heard of since Wayne Gretzky set the record. I think it's like almost 200 points in a season. It's like 190 something, if I remember right.
Before you continue, my question: do you think I've heard of him? I haven't had the chance to actually watch a game, but do you think that he's actually that legit? We can keep that longevity.
Yeah, I mean, he has. It's not like the first year that he's been doing this. I mean, if you look at his stats, last year was a shortened year, 56 games. He had 105 points. Now, remember, I just got done saying most cats, they'll get 100 points in 82 games.
Yeah.
He did it in 56. He's had at least 100 points in 4 of his 6 seasons so far. So the one of them that he didn't get it in was his rookie year, and then the other year he got 97 points, and that was in 64 games. So I mean,
yeah,
he was on pace.
Yeah.
It's there.
Gotcha.
He's
like
good.
On some Mike Trout baseball type stuff.
Right. But this year at 15 games, you're already at 30 points. That's 2 points a game. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just ridiculous, and he is so good. I think a couple weeks back he actually had a 4-on-1. He was the one, and he broke through 4 defenders by himself. You're talking rec hockey kind of stuff. You don't see that.
Yeah.
And he just broke through them all and scored a goal. It was ridiculous. This guy is unbelievable, and it's something exciting to watch. So go be Edmonton Oilers fans if that's what you want to do. Just watch this guy, because what he does out there on the ice rink is just ridiculous. So, and that's coming from a Bruins fan. But I'm telling you, this guy is the real deal, and I like watching him. And I've been watching some of his games.
Invest in his trading card, man.
Something, man. Yeah. He is gonna be when it's all said and done, he will rival Gretzky for being like the great one.
Oh,
Like, I'm serious.
That's crazy.
Because you have to put in perspective, like, he's playing against goalies now that are massive compared to what goalies were when Gretzky was playing. Gretzky was playing against little dudes that were like 5'10", 170 pounds, dripping wet. Now the goalies are almost all over 6 feet. They're like 230 pounds. Like, they're just big. They take up more net. You know, so it's just
More
so much
difficult.
harder. It's so
Gotcha.
much harder for them to score. And the fact that he's putting up almost what Gretzky was doing back in the 80s, that says a lot. So, but anyways, that's all I got for hockey for now.
That's a lot.
Baseball
That's
has
it.
some news. Yeah, baseball. Yeah, I know. We're in the off season for baseball, which is usually dead until after the new year. For some reason, these guys are starting to sign already. Verlander just signed with the Astros for $25 million over 1 year. Thor, or forget what his actual name is, but Syndergaard. I think it's Noah Syndergaard.
No
Yeah.
Syndergaard, yeah.
Sorry. He decided to leave the Mets, and he's going to the Angels to pitch with Shohei Ohtani. So that's an exciting 1-2 punch over there. And I think he took like 1 year, $22 million. So it's just unheard of that these guys would be signing so early in the year. It's just weird. So I don't know what's going on in baseball, but something's going on. They want to spend money immediately. So that's really all I got for baseball. I'll quickly do college football. We got some good matchups this week. Okay.
Kenny's not allowed to talk about college football anymore.
Well, he's not allowed to bet on it.
I'm going to keep my comments to myself because the last time I checked, you ain't win shit either.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Go ahead.
Yeah. But big matchup this week, Michigan State at Ohio State, number 7 at 4.
Stay tuned.
That is going to be a huge matchup. That's going to basically decide the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State's favored by 19, so we'll see what happens.
But why you say that? They started at plus 27.
Yeah,
So that tells you something.
It tells me that the line was too high, and that bettors was just like, oh, well, Michigan State can cover that. You know, that they just put more money on that for them to cover.
Okay.
I mean, come on. If you beat Michigan State by 27, that's ridiculous, even at home. And then the only
19. Is that what
yeah,
it's
it's
at right
19,
now?
19 points. That's still
They
3
could
scores.
cover.
Yeah, it already went past 21. So anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead. We'll cover that later.
Arkansas is at Alabama. It's probably not going to be a big contest. Alabama should handle business there, but I mean, it is a ranked matchup, so 21 at 2. Take it for what you want. I think Arkansas got away with the game last week, and that's the only reason why they're actually ranked this week. So I wouldn't be worried if I'm a Tide fan. And then you got Oregon going at Utah. That is going to make or break Oregon's season, I think, as far as making college football playoffs. So,
Are you future telling BK bets? That's crazy. Like you
What?
Bishop down one with the badge. Now you'll see. Stay tuned. Go ahead.
all right. Yeah. And I mean, those are the only big matchups that I see as far as like ranked teams. You know, I don't really see any upsets necessarily. Last week, I think it was A&M, right? They're the ones that dropped to Arkansas.
Yeah. No, they
Yeah.
didn't play Arkansas. They played Ole Miss. Cut it
Oh,
out.
Ole Miss, my bad.
Yeah.
I knew that they lost because
11-13 matchup. Relax.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, last week, I mean, Ohio State took care of Purdue, as I told you they would. Baylor upset Oklahoma, so
Yeah, that's a big one.
the Big 12 is probably out of it as far as the college football playoffs
They've
go.
been out of it, bro. Anyway.
Well, at least if Oklahoma had stayed undefeated, they'd have a case.
Yeah,
That's
make it
all.
more. Yeah.
You know, but now that it's done. You know, yeah, and Ole Miss, yeah, like we said. Yeah, I don't see
That's pretty
anything
much
else.
it, yeah.
I mean, listen, we're getting closer to bowl season, or to the conference championships, I should say. And that's really going to solidify the college football playoffs, and then we really get to see who the best team is in the nation. So
It's already determined, bro. It's gonna be somebody at the SEC. It's either Bama or it's Georgia. That's it.
okay,
It's not
hey,
even a question.
is Georgia and Alabama in the same division, or are they separate divisions?
Separate divisions, so
So they'll play.
They'll see each other in the SEC championship,
Okay,
which Alabama has to win because if they don't, then they'll probably fall to 5.
you think so?
Because if they're at 2, and if they're at 2, Oklahoma's going to be. I mean, Ohio State's going to be at 3, and then number 4 is Oregon, or vice versa, and they lose. Whoever that number 5 is, if it's a big time school like a Notre Dame or something like that, they're gonna hop. Just because when it comes to like college football in the playoffs, if you have a team that has a big like fan base, you can't mess things up. Because if you do, it's an outcry. Everybody's gonna start going crazy. So they can't do that. Yeah.
I mean,
Like a Cincinnati, they're gonna get in over Cincinnati. But if it's like a Notre Dame or like even if Michigan creeps back down type of thing, like people are gonna be like, what?
so you think a 2-loss Alabama? Yes, they lost to Georgia. If they lose to Georgia,
Yeah.
they are in before an undefeated Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay, I understand Cincinnati hasn't played anybody and probably won't play anybody, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have to give them their due. They are undefeated.
My question is, who's gonna outcry? Who's gonna be pissed? Who's gonna call you on the phone? What alumni or their fan base are gonna call you on the phone and be like, hey, that's bullcrap.
I mean, that's
There's no
fair.
Bearcats out there going crazy. But let that
Because-
happen to a Michigan. Let that happen to a Michigan.
I'm just saying, I don't see another team out there that really has a chance. Like, because in my mind, if you're putting Ohio State in, right, that means they beat Michigan State and they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So them 2 teams, they're done if that happens. So then you're left with either Cincinnati or the next team is Notre Dame.
That's what I'm saying.
You think Notre Dame might be able to
It's
go
like-
above Cincinnati?
Before we go to football, before we go to NFL, I'll say this one last thing. That's like in I think it was 2016 or 2015, when I forgot what team lost in the SEC. They had to drop out because they were like, oh, do they get in because they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship? Do they get in? And then like Notre Dame fans was like, hell no, they don't get in over us. And then guess what? Notre Dame went to 4 and got blown out the water, and everybody's like, what the hell? This is not even a game. And people are like, we told you.
I mean,
Anyway.
that's fair. I don't want to see Notre Dame in it either, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see Cincinnati make it only because they haven't ever done it.
Yeah, I would too, but
You know?
it's not gonna happen. I doubt it.
At least Notre Dame, we have a history of seeing them suck, so we don't need to see that anymore.
Yeah, they don't. Brian Kelly's not good in that situation. Anyway, my bad,
All right.
Ryan. We're taking up your time. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's all I got. Go ahead.
Damn, you're all wild. Hey, it's lucky that you're doing that because nothing really happened in the NFL. with
Okay,
regards
on to great
like,
debate. I'm
news.
just playing. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
No, like a little things happen because usually we got like some like COVID news or something ridiculous, but nothing
We do have
crazy
COVID
happened
news.
this week. Yeah, we have Joey Bosa, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bosa tested positive, so he probably won't play this week. But like, it's
Well,
it's
I
not
heard
like
he's
Big Ben.
unvaccinated.
All right,
I
then
heard he's not
might
vaccinated, so I think he's out.
Well, yeah, then
That's
he's
why- that's why I
100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can cover that up. Like last week,
It's not like he made a
we
difference
didn't,
anyway.
Yeah, we didn't get to cover this, but Big Ben was out last week, like tested positive, I think day of, and they had to like just scramble to figure out who they were going to play. Mason Rudolph ended up starting that game. All right, let me just go down the list. I'm not going to talk about Mac Jones, even though I do want to get Brian's opinion on his performance, if how much he's overreacting. Tua, we'll start the week off with the Thursday night game where the Dolphins decided to upset the hot Ravens. Lamar's balling out, and then boom, they get hit with the Dolphins. They started Jacoby Brissett and had Tua as the backup, filling in as the backup for this game, only because Tua wasn't completely healthy with like I think it's like a finger injury, fracture. So he was activated for the game, but they didn't want to like risk him. But he came in and Brissett got injured, and Tua came in and finished out the game, and they won 22-10. So that was a pretty nice upset for the Dolphins. I mean, they're just a well-coached. Spoiler alert: we'll be talking about coaches, so we can talk about Brian Flores a little bit later. Um, a lot of broken fingers. Elijah Mitchell sustained a broken finger in the 49ers game where they upset the Rams. So that was pretty baller.
It
But
was.
usually it's crazy because I was talking trash 49ers, and don't get me wrong, I still think that the 49ers are like that was above and beyond like what I was expecting from them. Usually, I thought this was going to be a close game because usually those division games are like pretty close. But when you look at them, they're like 9-6 games or like really low scoring games. The 49ers put up 31 points on the Rams defense. And they were with Von Miller, which was weird looking at him. And I think he was wearing like number 40. It just looked weird out there. I didn't like his jersey number. And then Odell was underwhelming in his debut, but like it's just the first week. And they were planning on having Woods, who tore his ACL in practice, and he is out for the rest of the year. So he kind of got like jump started into like the starting lineup, and they're gonna have to speed that process up for him to learn the offense. Hopefully, it's not too difficult. But the announcers were talking about it during the game, which I thought was interesting. Usually, the Rams run this like fast-paced offense where they're like no huddle going, but they were huddling up a lot during this game because they had to tell Odell like, "Hey, this is the play. Like, this is what you need to be doing." And they were pointing out like, "Well, this is probably why they're doing it because he just doesn't know the playbook yet." Which it'll be interesting as he starts getting the playbook and they're able to start speeding some things up. Maybe the Rams get back on track. Russell Wilson came back this week from his finger injury, just to keep pace with the finger stuff, and he had his first shutout. He had his first shutout in his career. He's never been shut out ever, and he decides to go into Lambeau, and it's a cold game, and you're coming back from a broken finger, so I'm sure it was super sore, and they just looked bad on all facets of the game. So Seahawks they're right now they're 3-6. Like I'm pretty sure
It's
the
go
Giants, yeah, they have to win out. Like
Yeah.
it's real bad. So I'd be nervous if I'm a Seahawks fan. Oh, did you guys see the stuff that happened with Metcalf? Didn't he like punch somebody and get ejected,
Yeah,
And
and then try to get back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I thought he's a bull. By the way,
Yeah.
Ryan, I apologize. I know you had to experience the loss of Aaron Jones and
Look.
not being able to perform in fantasy. I don't know. By the way, guys, I am 2-0 versus the co-host in here. They can't fuck with me. Okay.
Get out of here.
Anyway, but no, DK Metcalf. So like when you hear him speak, it's like he's just like cool, calm, and collective. But he might have like one of those like Herschel Walker type personalities in the game. I'm not saying he's bipolar or have multiple personal disorder or anything like that. But like
I mean,
he's like a different animal, right, in the game. Because it didn't make sense. It's like somebody said something like, "Man, fuck you," or something like that. But he hitting people like going crazy. I'm like, bro, what? You already lost the game. The game is over. Like, what are you getting upset for? And then like people come up here. Yeah, like he's
nuts,
looking
man.
crazy. His hair, whoever is his stylist, they need to get his shit right because he need to pick that thing out. Right? It was all matted and all messed up. I'm like, dang, bro. But he was like, he literally looked like the Hulk for real. Like he was transforming or whatever. But whatever. I don't know. I thought he was just going crazy for no reason. The game was over. Then he tried to get back in the game. Like, oh, I'm calm down now. Like, no, bro, you big as hell. We know who you are. Get out. Anyway. That was just my way to just say, Ryan, sorry. But anyway, go ahead.
Shut up! I hate you. The NFL we got Thanksgiving games coming up, and I'm pretty pumped for that. The NFL posted that they have like heightened COVID-19 protocols around the league, so teams might be suffering some fines. They're just going to be more stringent on like the mask policy and like make sure teams are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Thanks,
All
Rogers.
money. All
Yeah.
about the money.
Way to go, Rogers. Cordell Patterson I never got a notification that he was injured, but apparently he was dealing with an ankle injury during the game last week. He's a game time decision this week. He's probably not going to play, but if he does play, I think he's pushing to play because he wants to play against his old team.
Man, Bill has a horseshoe right up somewhere, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All these players keep getting hurt right before the Patriots play them. I don't know. Something's going on.
Here's something sad. Chase Young tears his ACL in a non-contact injury. That's sad. He was kind of having a disappointing year. Like last year, everyone was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna ball out this year," and it just he wasn't like doing anything. He wasn't like taking the league by storm, by any means. But he tears his ACL, so that kind of sucks for the Washington football team. That's all
It's
I
a
got.
blessing,
in
though.
terms- Why
I
you
know it
say
sounds
that?
weird because now
Sweat.
he's going to not sweat. Now he's going to have to build his toolbox, right? He's been
Yeah.
focusing so much on the speed rush. Now he's going to actually have to build his toolbox more using his hands, getting a swim move, spin move, things like that, and that's going to make him a better player.
Not only that, I think teams probably keyed in on him a little bit more this year. You know, they're not going to just let him run free.
Exactly.
So, did you see
I
though
wanna-
that? Oh, I was gonna say, did you see though that his injury happened at the same part of the field where both Alex Smith and Joe Theismann got hurt? I think it was Joe Theismann, right? They all got hurt in the same part of the field on FedEx Field. It's just weird. Same
They
area
need to-
within 10
they-
yards.
It's pretty trash. I mean, I've been to a game and it looks awful, but like, I mean, what are they gonna do?
It's
Maybe
Maybe
not
when
gonna
they
care.
maybe when they get a new name, they'll get some new.
Yeah, they
turf.
can't even figure out their name. So you think they're gonna do the field? Come on now.
Yeah. Hey, let's. I want to get your guys' insight. Hey, I want to give Kenny his due. He was talking about Colt McCoy, and he was saying how the Cardinals are going to get smacked down to earth if Kyler doesn't play again, and the Panthers came in and smacked him in the mouth, 34-10. So I'll give him his due. Cam Newton plays on his first two plays, they're touchdowns. Which, come on, man, you're telling me PJ couldn't come in and same exact play and it wouldn't have worked the same way? Like, I don't know.
On the run, maybe not.
I don't know. It wasn't.
Only because Cam actually kind of ran a little bit through an arm tackle. I mean, PJ's smaller. Now maybe PJ's faster and gets outside and just goes in untouched. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh well.
I agree though. I think rules should never put Cam in. I'm just saying. PJ played a good game.
They have an agenda. They paid him money, and they're forcing Cam into the spot. So it looks like
Good
there's
luck.
reports now that he's on track to start this week. So I imagine Cam will be rolling out there this week. So yeah.
I give it 2 weeks. 2 weeks and the real Cam will show up. The real Cam will show up.
The thing that was good about this for Cam is he didn't have to throw the ball. Like, did he have any throws?
The touchdown, that's it. But is
that's
that
what
a
I'm-
throw? It's a toss.
But it was like a toss. Yeah, it was like a. What I'm most worried about with Cam is his arm. That's what looked difficult for him to. It looked like he was having trouble throwing when he was playing for New England, and anything that was beyond 10 yards was way off target. So maybe if he keeps his eyes open while he throws, we'll be good to go.
He's in a better system for him, so he'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, as long as Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, who
Yeah,
back-to-back
exactly.
games,
If
and
you
he
got
looks
Christian
great.
McCaffrey, you're gonna have like 80 catches in the next 3 games. Like, golly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know he only played like 60% of the snaps and he still got 10 catches. On
Yeah,
top of like
he's-
90 yards rushing.
He
insane.
when he's on the field, he's getting the ball, and there's nothing you can do about it. And for some reason, he'll do like a wheel out route. No one wants to. They're like, we don't need to guard the best player. It was just insane.
Some weird coaching decisions there, huh? Anyways,
I mean, there's been some weird coaching decisions. One of the weird coaching decisions I want to bring up before we move on is what the Browns did. They decided to be like, listen, let's run the ball down the Patriots' throat. They drove down the field. They scored a touchdown. All right, let's maybe not run the ball now and put it in Baker's hands. And Baker showed what we talk about every week. Baker doesn't have it to put the game in his hands and throw the ball. They don't have the offensive weapons. Baker's just not it, and they need to be able to run the ball. And they ran the ball that first drive, scored, and then that was it. After that, it was over. Patriots 35-7.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the Patriots made an adjustment after that first drive, and so every time they pulled the guard, they were doing a lot of guard pulls on that first drive. The linebackers just attacked at that, and basically their adjustment was, we'll give them the play action if they decide to change to that, because we're gonna stop the run. So they're committed to the run on that second drive, and going forward. And for some reason, the Browns never counter adjusted. They never did a rollout. They never did play action off of it. It was just weird. So
I mean, I'm not. The book's not out on Mac Jones. I wouldn't get too excited. It's another game where he didn't throw for 200 yards. He's he was highly efficient, had his 3 touchdowns. But if they are playing from behind, that's when we'll see what Mac Jones is really all about. And I talked about Brian. I'm not ready to call him like the next coming or like even a franchise quarterback until I see what he's like in a 2-minute drill where they have to win the game. Like Mac Jones needs to get us down the field and win the game. Let's see if he can do it.
yeah,
But who knows against that defense if that's even going to happen this year.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
calm down. The defense is doing good, but like they're not like world beaters over there. Come on,
Okay.
that scheme.
Well, sticking on football for the great debate, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Brian, for some reason, just thinks he just knows it all, right? So, for the great debate this week is the coaching disparity between young and old coaches in the NFL, right? So we're not even going to normally in the great debate. We're like, oh guys, what do you think? We already know what Brian thinks. Brian thinks the old coaches are better, right? And I'm on leaning on the side that the young coaches, have something to speak for themselves. And then Ryan, I guess he might be in the middle. He might be on the other side, but we'll see. But
We'll
go ahead,
find
Brian.
out.
We'll find out.
Hey, can I bring something up real quick? Hey,
Yeah.
just to lift the veil a little bit, let you guys see a little behind the scenes of what we do. Uh, a lot of times, me and Kenny and Brian will talk about a topic that we're going to discuss this week, and then what happened this week is we agreed on a topic. Me and Kenny did. He's like, all right, cool. I'll go talk to Brian. He goes to talk to Brian. 10 minutes later, he comes back. He's like, no, we got a different topic. Brian's an idiot. He thinks this. And this is how things get stemmed up. Brian just says some stuff that he just makes up out of his mind, and he pulls it out of his ass and he throws it out there, sees if it sticks, and then Kenny's like, no, you can't just say random crap. And then here we are making an entire episode about Brian being stupid.
Go ahead, Brian. Get your 5 minutes of fame. Go ahead.
No. I just think that there's a severe lack of coaching. I wouldn't necessarily point to just the young guys. I think, but with this generation of coaches, I think that they all seem to have like flaws, especially with in-game management. They don't make a lot of adjustments. Like I was saying with the Browns, they never made adjustments. Mac Jones saw like basically the same defense the entire game. Part of the reason why he played so well, it wasn't necessarily because Mac is good. It's because he didn't have to adjust throughout the game. And even Myles Garrett came out and said after the game, he said the coach didn't make any adjustments in the game, and he was like mad at the coach, which he should be. But Stefanski is regarded as one of the more up and coming coaches. He's supposed to be like this young offensive mind, like he's supposed to be this good coach, and I just don't see it. And then let's look at the Rams. They just got pantsed. McVay, listen, he thinks he's like the smartest guy in the room, and he might be a lot of times, but he sticks to his game plan too much, and he just thinks that he's so smart. Like he's like, no, we'll just keep to the game plan, and he just doesn't change anything. When you look at these older coaches who are more seasoned, like your Mike Tomlin, like obviously Belichick, like your Andy Reid, they make in-game changes. Maybe it doesn't happen until halftime for some of them, but they make these changes, and that's why their teams are always in a game. They're always competitive. They rarely get blown out. It's because it's just much better coaching. And I just think that some of these young guys just aren't. They're not seasoned, and I think that when we see some of these older heads like retire, um, the quality of coaching is going to be severely lacking in the NFL. That's basically the premise of my argument. I mean, what do you got to counter that?
So don't egg me on, okay?
Go
I'm
ahead,
trying
Kenny.
to I'm trying to keep my composure and let Ryan talk a little bit before I go off. So
Oh,
just
okay, Ryan.
relax.
One of the things, Brian, that you have been so spoiled the last 18 to 20 years, just watching Bill Belichick. You're literally watching the greatest uh, coach to ever coach and like basically two dynasties back to back. Like you can't hold everyone to his standard. He's done things a little bit differently. So that's whatever. That's one. And two, who's to say that like they're not making adjustments and there's just not player execution?
Bingo.
Like the players are just not executing the game plan correctly, or the players are like, oh, we just got dogged the first half. I already got my paycheck. I'm not trying to. They're just going out there. They're not playing well. Or like multiple things could happen. I will say that like some coaches make some boneheaded play calls. Like I've seen Tomlin, as great of a coach he is, he makes some crazy like decisions to go further than to kick the field goal and kind of just extend the game a little bit longer. It's paid off for him sometimes because I remember that Le'Veon Bell, or I think it was like an Antonio Brown 2 point conversion where he like extended it over and they won the game that way. But like it also goes the other way where they lose that. Clock management with Andy Reid. Every coach has its flaw, and Bill Belichick's flaw will 100% be his pride. Benching Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. It'll be like telling Matthew Slater like to go receive the ball in overtime or to kick the ball in overtime to the Jets.
I still think he
Well,
was just
which
covering for his player.
he might have been, but still, I'm gonna blame him since he took the coverage on that. But like Bill makes those mistakes just like any other coach. And I think nowadays it's harder to be an NFL coach than it was back then, only because so many franchises are like, if you have 2, 3 bad years, we're pulling you. Like back then it was like, hey, you need time, team together to get the chemistry, the locker room, to get the people behind you, the buy in, and you get a little bit more time to like figure out your team. It's not like that nowadays. If you are look at Jeff Fisher, he was like 8-8 every year, and they just decided to pull the plug on him. Granted, probably for the best, but still, I just think your standards are a little too high, Brian. When you say, because when Bill Belichick leaves, there's going to be other coaches that are going to take over, and I think there's a lot of young up and coming head coaches, Brian Flores, Stefanski, Shanahan, McVay, like, and I could probably list up that are just like up and
Don't worry, I
coming.
will.
So
I'd much rather you put Vrabel on that list.
no,
But
yeah,
Vrabel is not really up and coming. He's an older guy though, right? Like people know about Vrabel. Like he's been in 4 or 5 playoffs now. Like people know about Vrabel. He's not like a up and coming. He's established and people know who he is, right?
if you would like me to list people, fine. McDermott, LaFleur, Vrabel, um, Stefanski, Brian Flores. I already said Frank Wright is a good coach. Like I, I'll never let anyone tell me otherwise. Um, Matt Nagy, great coach. Just kidding.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's just end the
Yeah,
episode now. Like
I
I
was
don't even
just
want.
playing.
I don't want Ryan to embarrass himself anymore. Matt Nagy.
I
Anyway,
hate that guy.
I'm
Rule.
gonna I'm gonna yeah, Coach Rule, right? I'm gonna piggyback off of you, right? Ryan, like Brian swears nobody's making adjustments. Everybody's always making adjustments. It comes to execution, like Ryan stated, right? And then also, if a player doesn't think the adjustment is the correct thing or what they think is necessary, and the NFL is totally different than college. In college, is like, oh, you want to do what I tell you to do? Get out. In the NFL, You can't really do that because you're paying the guy millions of dollars. So like if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, all you're gonna do, especially if it's an established name, all you're gonna do is tell him at film, hey bro, you gotta do this better, blah 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 blah. But once he's guaranteed a certain money, you gotta still play the guy. Right? It's very rare that you'll see a guy get pulled. Right? Every coach makes adjustments. Like it's a pride thing at the end of the day, like Ryan said as well, that some coaches are like, listen, I'm not gonna a leopard can't change his spots, and they're not going to change what they do. They've been effective that way, so if they lose that way, then guess what? I would rather, a lot of coaches' philosophy is I would rather lose on my principles than lose changing and doing something different, right? And Bill is one to do that too. Bill just hasn't lost a lot because he had Tom Brady as the GOAT to always come back. Defensive minded, you can't take that from Bill. He has that in the pocket, right? But like when you talk about guys up and coming and younger thinking like, oh yeah, it's going to be watered down in a sense. No, it's not. Like the game has evolved so much and the offenses has been so much more detailed than it was back in the day. People are not just running wishbone or full house formation, belly right, belly left. Like people are not doing it in play action. There is so many different variations that you have to count for, right? And then if you look at coaches that's up and coming, right? We talk about Sean McVay and his years being at the line. I mean, at the Rams, he's 50-24, 3-3 in the postseason, right? But he's been had 3 postseason appearances. He's been to a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan. Every time Kyle Shanahan has had a healthy quarterback, he's made it deep into the playoffs, right? 2017 was his first year, right? They struggled. He got Jimmy G in there 2018. Boom, Jimmy G gets hurt. Jerick McKinnon gets hurt. They have a lot of injuries. 2019, healthy. They go to the Super Bowl. 2020, Jimmy G gets hurt again, and they still struggle. But we have seen him with doggone Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. Like all these quarterbacks still have effective games where nobody thought they could win. Everybody always counted him out every single time, and he still figures out a game plan, figures out a scheme to have them be successful. So like running is what he does. It's like some coaches are just has certain things that they do. I'm a running style coach, or I'm a passing style coach, right? Like Brandon Staley with the Chargers. I hate that he goes for it on 4th down. But if that's what he's going to hang his hat on, right, then guess what? He's going to go for it all the time. Sometimes it's like last week or the week before when they played the Eagles, I'm like, bro, kick the field goal. Like, why are you going for it on 4th and 1? But he's like, that's just what I do, right? And it's kind of like you live with it or you die with it. And I think a lot of coaches, what you see, are doing that, right? Even Nick Sirianni, right? Like they have struggled in the beginning, but now they're finding their identity, and they still suck on defense. Don't get me wrong, that's without a doubt. But
Brian, what
now,
team is that?
Philly.
yeah.
All right, just making sure.
So yeah, the Eagles, right? So now you see the rushing game. He's like, okay, well I'm gonna hang my hat on rushing. So they just run the ball, and they've been effective with that, right? Zach Taylor, he tries to be more a scheme. He's gonna throw the ball, right? Stefanski, he's gonna run the ball. Like all these coaches hang their hat on one thing, and they're gonna stick to that because they've been successful at that. And why would they change it? Because then you're doing something that you're not comfortable doing, and then you're gonna get exposed even more, right? Like Cliff Kingsbury, like they got a defense, but he throws the ball all the time. This year they run the ball a little bit. He likes to run the ball, but he likes to throw the ball. He adjusted slightly, but when Kyler Murray gets back, I guarantee you they're gonna throw the ball 40, 50 times again. They're not gonna just keep running the ball because that's just who he is.
I think I hope that he's learned though from this. With Kyler, 2nd year in a row he's gotten hurt. You need to protect your quarterback, run the ball a little bit.
Kyler's gonna get hurt every year because he's little, no matter
Well,
what.
right. So don't put the ball in his hands as much if you can.
We talked about this. Kyler is a selfish quarterback.
I
Right?
know.
He's a me guy. So it doesn't matter if you take the ball in his hand or not. There's a lot of times it's a passing play, and he just takes off running. And he does all this because he's super quick. He like Sonic the Hedgehog. He just and going. And it's like, bro, you don't have to do that. Protect yourself. But that's just not how he plays. So he might have one of the most electrifying, smallest careers, that we've seen just because he's not risk averse. So, but yeah, that's my point on there. I know I kind of went long winded. Me and Ryan are on the same pace. We're not breathing when we're talking. We're just going at a motor speed type of pace. So,
Well, another thing I like to add to add on a little bit to my point is, I think a lot of these young coaches also are relying on advanced analytics a little bit too much. Like what you were saying, like Staley, he likes to go for it on 4th down a lot. Like sometimes it's smarter to play the field position game than it is to just keep going for it all the time. Yeah, you might get it 1 out of every 2 times, but guess what? It's when you don't get it and you put your defense in a bad spot that you're giving up more points and you might be digging a bigger hole. So, like, I think some of these they're listening to the analytics too much and they have to have a better feel for the game. And I don't know. I disagree with those decisions.
Half empty, half full. That's the approach, right? You can look at the numbers and say one thing and then go. It's kind of like trading stocks. Or do you trade fundamentals, or are you trading what you see in trends? Are you a trend analysis? Like which one are you going to be on? This is kind of like that. Some people are successful here, some people are successful here. So it's like whatever.
To play devil's advocate with that, Brian, real quick, figure like the analytics are just going to be your decision to make. Like it's just going to be your backup to make whatever decision you want to make. Yeah. I will say this: I hate at the end of the game reporters when they're like, "Do you regret going for it on fourth down?" Well, no. No. Like if I did, you'd be calling me a G. When hindsight is always 20/20. Like just because they didn't get it doesn't mean that they won't get it every time. So later on in the year, like case in point is if they should have ran the ball with Marshawn Lynch at the goal line. Yes, they should have. But they didn't.
Super Bowl
But
champions.
if they don't make that, if they catch that play, if they catch that ball and Malcolm Butler doesn't make that play and like they crash the run, then it was a genius play call. And
because they knew he was going to run it. They knew he was going to run it. That was a great play call. But then since he threw it, why would you not give it to Marshawn Lynch? Did you see how it's like, bro? Of course, you're doing it for clicks. So
yeah, I mean, I think going for it on the goal line is a little bit different than going for it in the middle of the field on fourth down. I will say that. Like the one of the most historical plays of Bill Belichick's career is going for it on 4th and 2 against Peyton Manning. He went for it. They failed, and the reason why he went for it was because he was facing Peyton Manning, and he didn't trust his defense to stop Peyton Manning again. So I think that was just like an in-game, like he had a feel for the game, the way the game was going was Indy had come back, and like so that's the only reason why he decided to go for it. Normally, Belichick is the type who is going to kick the ball and let his defense take the game away.
Yeah.
I just think that decisions like that are just based on analytics, and you can't in football especially you can't have blanket analytics making these predetermined judgments for you because going for it on 4th and 1 against one team is different than going for it against another team, and there's so many different outcomes for each team that you're playing week in week out, and I just think that these young coaches are looking at these analytics and letting it creep into their decision making.
Too easy. I'm just gonna let you know that analytics has been in the game since the late 2000s. So like, I don't know what you're saying, and
I get
I'm
that,
gonna leave it at that.
but I think it's getting progressively more and more infiltrated into the game.
But what you're making is just a biased judgment. There's nothing that's stating that that's true or false.
I'm telling you, it's true.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead, Ryan. Get to Ryan's fantasies. You're not listening to Brian anymore. We're taking too much time. Let's do it.
He said, I'm telling you, so it's right. Idiot. All right, so here's some games that this is going to be a shootout. Maybe it's a trap game, but Kansas City versus Dallas this week just has shootout written all over it.
As long as Brian doesn't say it's going to be true.
Yeah. Right now, the implied point total for Kansas City in that game is 28 points. And I like Kansas City options. I like Dallas options. If you want to flip a coin and put Amari Cooper on one side and what's his nuts on the other side? No, CD Lamb on the other side, and pick the receiver that you think is going to have the better game. Maybe go Amari Cooper if you're playing DFS and you want to go contrarian. He might, or Michael Gallup might be another one that you might want to look at this week, just to go a little bit different than the field. CD Lamb's nursing an injury. I saw him pop up earlier.
Bruised arm or something like that.
It ain't nothing crazy, but like Gallup is a decent look. He's getting more and more healthy as time goes on. Dak likes him, as you guys know. You've told me hundreds of times. Buffalo has an implied point total of 28 against the Colts. If you like Jonathan Taylor, they are giving him the ball. They are feeding him. He is just like me and Brian talked about this last week when we were deciding on doing our bets for like over under for yardage for Jonathan Taylor, and I think it was like 90 something yards, and we were like, man, 90 something, that's a high game, but they're feeding him the rock, and he, lo and behold, he had like 70 in like the first quarter. Well, glad we took the over on that one. Um, so so Jonathan Taylor's a great. Good luck choosing a running back for the Bills. I just stay away from it entirely. Matt Breida had 2 touchdowns last week, but he only got like 6 or 7 touches in like between rushing and running. So maybe that's a trend you're going to see going forward. And Breida more involved into the offense. He's a speedy guy. The Browns are playing the Lions, so they're probably going to run the ball a ton, like what the Browns do. Hopefully Nick Chubb's back this week. Titans at Houston. Titans are favored by I can't remember the over under on that game, but their implied point total is like 27 and a half. So like that's a ton of points for the Titans. They've been Deontay Foreman looks like the running back that they favor in that offense. He's getting a lot of work. Every time I look, he's on the field. So I don't know if they are just like save AP. Jeremy Nichols or whatever is not the he's doing the same thing he was doing with Derrick Henry there. He's just spelling third down every once in a while. But Dante Foreman is I think going to be the running back you're going to want to have in that backfield, at least until Derrick Henry comes back and forces his way on the field like week 14 because he's a superhuman freak.
Week 14 for real?
No, I'm just making that up. But
I
I could hope. No, they say he's out to the end of the year, but like
I was about to say, what? There's no way.
you never
He's back
know
next
with this
week.
guy.
Like,
This dude's
what?
nut. He's a superhuman. I would not be surprised. Kyler Murray looks like he's trending towards play. So maybe we potentially see a bounce back game from Seattle because Arizona and Seattle are playing each other this week. And yeah, I think that's all I got for that. AJ Dillon's obviously going to be your a pretty popular play this week because he's going to get all the work in Green Bay. He's 6,200 in DraftKings and 7 in FanDuel. A player I like that has like a pretty high floor, gets like all the work is David Montgomery. He came back from injury the week before last and then had his bye week. So he's got some fresh legs and he looks good. And Chicago's going to need to run the ball with the offense that they're trying with Justin Fields. So I'd probably aim to try and get him more involved. And in DraftKings, Christian McCaffrey is under 9,000. He's 8,900. But I mean, anytime Christian McCaffrey is under 9,000, I'm looking his way because he is just a lock for like 20 points at least. And that's if he doesn't even yards from scrimmage. He's just somehow gets like 10 to 15 catches like a monster. So yeah, that's what I'd probably look at this week. Mark Andrews, he's got my vote for tight end 1 for the season.
First tight end 1. More than Travis Kelce? Travis Kelce been turning on as late.
Yeah, but if Mark Andrews, my own Mark Andrews is he just doesn't get enough of the catches because they just are not a passing offense. But what we've seen this year is teams trying to take away Travis Kelce because they know that that's his pacifier. That's Mahomes' pacifier. So if they take away Kelce, then they just have to stop the big plays with Tyreek Hill. So because Travis Kelce is the guy that's going to move the chains, and Mark Andrews is a touchdown. Like he's getting touchdowns. He's getting in the end zone, and the only thing you have to worry about is if Lamar's only throwing it 14, 15 completions in a game, you got to hope that 6 of them go to Mark Andrews, which usually they do. But yeah.
Well, we appreciate that for Ryan's fantasies. I'm gonna take it to BK bets, and let's just get straight into it. I always try to say, oh, I have nothing to say this week, and I try to come up with some damn excuses. I'm not winning no money. NCAA this week, I am feeling a little risky this week. Not risky on my bets, like my picks, but risky on how many teams I put, right? Because three below is the best odds. But I'm going four this week. So we got Michigan State plus 21. Okay, yeah, and then we have Oklahoma. What do you got to say about that?
It's fine. I
Okay.
don't think Ohio State's gonna blow them out.
Yeah, no, I don't think they are either. So
No.
Michigan State plus 21 versus Ohio State. We have Oklahoma money line. I'm taking them versus Iowa State. I think they get back on track. I think Caleb Williams has a game to show back up, and he gets back on track. I like Bama 21 versus Arkansas. I know people are like, oh man, it's a rival game. We're at home, okay? We're at home. We're gonna do what we got to do. And then my last team is going to be Oregon plus 3. They're playing at Utah, and I know people are going to be like, dang, that's a questionable game because it's at Utah. But really, if you look at Utah's schedule, who has they played? And I think right now, Oregon has learned from their mistakes early in the year. They're starting to find their stride a little bit. And if you have watched their games, they haven't really struggled lately. They've been playing really well offensively, and I feel like they've found their groove. So I'm not giving you a 3-teamer. I'm giving you a 4-teamer. You put $50 on it. I think it's going to win you something like 489 or 490, something like that. Right? Am I right or wrong on that? Something like that, right?
What on the 14?
Yeah.
14, you're gonna win 977. No, it's plus 970. It's plus 977. So half of that.
Yeah, so around 480, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot you only do 50.
I like that because I was going to ask you guys about that Oregon Utah game because I thought that line was a little lower than I thought it would be. So
Yeah, but it's only because they're playing at Utah, and it's kind of like a rival game. If you look at them historically, it's always a rival when they play kind of close. So yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Ryan.
The only reason why I would steer clear of that game personally is just because Oregon's not a high scoring team, so it could be close. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
I'm cool with them being close. They're plus 3.
I know 3. They should beat them by a touchdown at least. I agree, but it's a scary game sometimes with those rivalry games.
Of course it is.
But hey, that's part of gambling. So, were you gonna touch on your? I think didn't you have NCAA basketball?
Oh yeah, with NCAA, I'm putting those in like daily picks. I'm looking at it more everything as things start to pick up. I'm seeing more teams who are the high flyers scoring a lot of points. We'll start seeing the over unders on that, and then who to pick as far as like just daily picks to help you guys out. So if you track us on Action Sports, you'll see those picks there. So yeah, I got one for tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna preface with the fact that you have to remember we're making these picks on Wednesday night. So when I picked the Cardinals last week, I apologize. I thought Kyler Murray was gonna play. So otherwise we would have hit. Anyways, this week. Where my road warriors at? Because this is how I'm gonna roll this week. We're going all road teams. We're going with Green Bay at Minnesota -2. I'm taking it. They're at least a field goal better. Come on. I'm taking Miami at the Jets -3, and I'm taking Cincinnati at Vegas -1.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought Joe Flacco's starting this week.
I know. I feel like that's easy money. Tua, you better not screw me over, buddy, because man,
he's
best
definitely
believe.
worried about you. Who was the last game you said? You said
Cincinnati -1 at Vegas.
Oh yeah, I'll put the house on that one. They got to get back right.
So I mean, $100, you win 604. So hey, get you back in the green
for sure. Get us back in the green.
I feel like those are good picks.
I feel like both of them for the first time. I feel like both of ours are. I don't mind. I'm not even gonna say it. I feel like I'm feeling good. That's all I'm gonna say. Because every time we say locks or something like that,
I'm getting streamers, party poppers. If you guys both, and I'll show next episode. Poof, poof.
And I didn't say anyone was gonna beat the brakes off anyone.
Thank you. That's it.
I didn't say it,
and I didn't say anything was a lock or a hit, guys. So y'all can trust us this week.
Right. We took it seriously. All right, and we're gonna win you over $1,000 this week.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, if you guys don't like our whole teamers, just take half because we normally hit on the half. I normally hit 2 out of 3. Brian hits 2 out of 3 every week. But yeah, anyway, that's for BK bets. We won't be here next week. We're taking a week off for Thanksgiving, so you guys enjoy the time with your family. You know, bake bread, give thanks on what you guys appreciate the most, and just spend that quality time with family. As always, follow us on all the socials on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, leave comments, let us know what you like or dislike, and keep tuning in. We appreciate the support as always. Again, have a great Thanksgiving. God bless, and let's win us some money this week. My boys, love y'all.